Hey, Liv Conlon here, and welcome back to the STAGERBOSS YouTube channel. Today, I have a client spotlight interview to share with you with one of our Staging Business Secret students who has scaled a £55,000, which is around $70,000 staging business in just 6 months. Bevan, the founder of the home staging service, joined our challenge back in April 2023, then went on to join us in Staging Business Secrets, launched her business in July. Fast forward 6 months, she's done £55,000 in sales, which is about $70,000, and her business just goes from strength to strength. Today in this interview, I wanted to interview her on that journey from being in medical devices, being in corporate, feeling unfulfilled there, unappreciated, to then joining the challenge, to then the program. And what I loved about this interview was her husband actually said, "Look, why are you doing it now? Can't you just wait a few months?" And her thought process was, well, if I start in a few months, I'll be a few months behind. She really does understand the power of money equals speed, success equals speed, and I can't wait for you to hear her journey and her mindset on everything that she's achieved. So with that, let's dive in. So welcome to the call, Seda. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks, Liv. How are you?
Oh, I'm great, thanks. How did that feel having that intro?
Kind of quite humbling, actually. Kind of, I got a bit embarrassed, but yeah, thank you. Big me up. Thank you very much.
I love that. I honestly think like as Brits, it's not we're not used to hearing ourselves like pumped up like that. Maybe if we were US based would be a little bit more ready to show our accomplishments. But I think, yeah, especially as women, we've been taught, right? Don't get too big for your boots, hide your light, don't brag about your success, but actually by sharing it, we inspire others.
Exactly. I agree. I agree. It is weird talking about yourself though, and especially like when you work alone, essentially, it's just you. So you're having to always pat yourself on the back and be like, oh yeah, I've done a really good job. And also recognize when you've done a good job as well as being reflective and learning. So it's wonderful to hear it from somebody else as well. So thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome. So take us back, Seda. Tell us where you were before you started your home staging business, before you joined us in the challenge. What did your life look like? What did you used to do as a job? Tell us all.
Yeah, so so my background, I've basically worked in like the med tech and pharmaceutical industry since I don't know, I was like 19, so a really long time, like about 23 years. And I've had various different roles. So I've been like a medical device rep. I've sold software, for all different things. Anyway, so I'm also a property investor, which I should add as well. So my husband and I set up a property investment business about 5 or 6 years ago now. And we've been, obviously doing that. And I love that. That has been like my passion. I've always loved property since the very, very, very young age of 7, like building little Lego houses and all that kind of stuff. So property has always been really important to me. But my job kind of became almost that financial crux in terms of like, I felt like I had kind of golden handcuffs because I was, you know, I know we talked about not bigging yourself up, but like I was doing very well, so
Yeah.
really good income. And that was basically funding my property habit. But in kind of like, I'm going to say like November 22 till kind of like March 23, my life just got mega, mega stressful. And, there were redundancies happening where I was, and it was very, very stressful environment to be working in. And it kind of got to the end of the year, and I just said to my husband, I just can't do this anymore. Like, I'm so stressed out. I'm really worried that something bad's going to happen, like in our lives, like we're not getting on, like the kids are still really little and I'm not being present and all that kind of stuff. When I am present, I'm so stressed out that actually, I'm not really being a nice person at home. Do you know what I mean? We kind of agreed that like my exit plan was basically to, gradually move into property management probably, or something like that, because like I said, we'd already been doing our own cottages. And then it got to March and I said, I can't work on the exit plan. I need to get out now. Like I'm drowning here. So I just quit. And then I said, I'm going to take 3 months off. I'm going to chill out. I'm going to like come back down to earth and like reprioritize my life. And then your little thing popped up on Facebook, I think just before I quit my job. and I was like, oh, this is interesting. Let's have a go on this challenge. And then I joined the challenge, and I was like, oh my god, I'm so inspired. And that was it. That was it for me. I just said to my husband, right, that's it. I know I said I was going to take 3 months off, but I'm actually going to set up a home staging business. And he was like, no, 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 no. You said you were going to take 3 months off. And I was like, I know, but if I start now, then I'll be where I want to be in 3 months. If I start in 3 months, I could have been, you know what I mean? Like if I start now, I'll be accelerated. But if I leave it another 3 months, I'll kick myself, because where could I have been in 3 months if I started now? So that was it, really. So then, yeah, I joined the challenge, obviously invested in the course, learnt loads from that. And yeah, like you said, it's just kind of gone off since then, really. Like it's just been a bit crazy. So yeah, a bit of a change, but absolutely loving it.
Oh my goodness. I love it. I remember when I spoke to you, the first time that we chatted about your journey so far, and you said that, right? That your husband had said, like, do you really need to do this right now? Just take some space. And that's why I knew even at the time that you were going to be successful, because money follows speed, success follows speed. The faster you take action, the faster you implement, of course, the faster you will have success. But
Absolutely.
also you're getting in ahead of anyone else that's also embarking on this journey. So I love that you just dived in. In terms of your role in your career, and we could say corporate, was there a tipping point for you that you were just like, was there a certain situation that happened? Or was it the seeing of the ad that was just like, right, that's me, I'm done? Or was it over a space of time?
So I was kind of already done before I saw the ad. So like I said, I had already quit. I was working my notice. But like I said, my intention was to take 3 months off and, you know, chill out. I don't chill out. I'm not a chill out person. I get a bit useless when I chill out, because my brain starts going and I want to completely remodel my house, and that's expensive. So yeah, so literally, I think I can't remember what I actually quit, but I had quit, and then I saw the course literally within 2 weeks, I think it was. And my husband and I just said, that's it. This is what I'm going to do, because it just sung to me. You know, I was like, this is everything I've been doing for myself, where I could help other people, like learn all, you know, like escape all the lessons that I've learned on my property journey. But also kind of think like, you know, I've moved a lot. Like I've never failed to sell a house. Why is that? Oh, because I always staged them. And I was just something I was doing naturally. And I was doing it, you know, for friends and family and helping them with different stuff. So yeah, it just sung to me. It just felt really right. And I was like, oh my God, this is what I have to do. And I just, like I said, I haven't looked back. I love it.
I know. I think I mean, you can tell how alive you are. I mean, were you like this in your corporate job? Were you this
No,
alive and, lit up?
probably at the beginning. I think
Yeah.
the last sort of like, probably I think the last sort of like 4 or 5 months wasn't great. Like it really wasn't great. And like I said, I got, you know, like that horrible feeling in the pit of your stomach, anxiety on a Sunday night. And I was like, oh my God, I don't want to go. And that's not me, like of working, you know, it's kind of, I know it sounds a bit sad, but if I'm not working, I don't know what I'm doing. And I know I've got
Yeah.
little children. That's a terrible thing to say, but like I get very fulfilled from work. So to feel like I didn't want to go, and to feel this enormous amount of pressure and stress, um, just, you know, just it just wasn't worth it. And I think like I've always wanted to work for myself. Like I said, I had this sort of like exit corporate plan, which was to basically use my job to fund my property habit, and, you know, keep investing in property, and then eventually have enough properties so that I could then just manage those and take the income from that. But yeah, I was like, I can't do this anymore. And like I said, and then I saw your thing. It was like accidental. I saw your thing. And I was like, oh, this is cool. I need to do this.
Accidental or meant to be. I think for
Exactly.
me, I'm a big believer that everything comes across our path at the perfect time.
I
And
agree.
if it's not the perfect time in your life, you were planning on taking this break, you just make it the perfect time. That is the true sort of, you know, skill set of someone who is destined for success. That is what they're able to say. I don't care if it's not the perfect time, but I'm going to make it that way. And so
Exactly.
you join the program, you launch the business. How did you get that first client? Because I know for you, it happened fast.
It did happen fast. Yeah, I'm going to say it was luck, because I can't say it was skill at that stage, but But yeah, I'd actually registered with Bark, which I don't know if everyone knows what that is, but it's, you know, like a kind of find a trade type thing. So I'd registered with them, and then I had this lead come through. Now I happened to have been at a wedding that weekend, so I was kid free, which was epic. Not that, like I said, I do love my kids. I'm making out that I don't, but I love
It's
my kids.
okay
But
to want a break, and it's okay to be fulfilled by a career as well. I feel the same.
it doesn't come around very often, right? So yeah, so I was kid free and husband free as well, because it was a friend's wedding.
Well, that's
Back
even
home in
better, right?
Gloucester.
Even better being
Oh
husband
yeah,
free.
it was wonderful. It was wonderful. I was in a hotel on my own. It was epic. So yeah, so I was at this wedding, and this lead came through, and I was like, oh, I'll just reply to that because I'm away, so I can do whatever. So I responded to the ad, and then on the Sunday when I got home, I called this guy, and he was like, oh my God, I can't believe you're ringing me on a Sunday. And I was like, oh, no rest for the wicked sort of thing, blah, blah, blah. I mean, had a really nice chat. And he was like, well, obviously we've had, quite a response from the ad. And I was like, yeah, no, that's absolutely fine. He goes, so obviously I need to, just, work out what I'm doing. And I was like, no, look, I would always encourage you to make sure that you're making informed decisions. So, if you've had other repliers, absolutely speak to them, see how you feel, where I am. We've had the chat, I know exactly what you're after. I've seen the property, I've seen the pictures. I'm really confident we could do something amazing for you. And he was like, okay, cool. He goes, I'll call you back tomorrow. And I was like, okay, fine. Not really expecting him to call me back. And then he called me about 10 o'clock in the morning, and he said, yeah, you're hired. And I was like, oh my God. And then I was like, trying to be cool. Like, yeah, oh, that's amazing. Oh, that's really cool. Thank you so much for the opportunity. On the inside going. So yeah, so that was it. So that was the first one. And then, oh my God, it has just gone nuts since then. Loads of referrals, which is, what you want really, isn't it? Because that's easier way to get business. So yeah, so that was how I got my first one.
Yeah,
4
and
days.
just to clarify, before you got your first client, you hadn't staged a property for anyone else, right? That was your first ever stage.
Yeah.
And there's a few reasons behind. It's not luck. Obviously there's always a small percentage of luck. But the reason you got that stage, and this is really important for anyone listening to really listen into this point, is that you responded fast.
Yes.
You didn't say, I'm at a wedding, I'm putting this, fun experience ahead of my business. You responded fast. That is impressive. That already gives your brand integrity. And it says to this person, you are committed. And we won loads of business last year in 2023 by responding fast. We had sent a quote before some companies even responded. Some companies weren't even responding. You stand out so much more when you respond fast. And then, of course, he was impressed by you, the person on the other end of the phone, and also the way that you held yourself. There's not this, oh, I've never done this before, you're probably not going to choose us. It's a confidence that comes with, look, go get other quotes. Like, giving that person not a pressurized sale, literally, we're here if you need us.
Exactly. And that was it. I just kind of, so we actually got on, which helps as well,
Yeah.
But we had a bit of a rapport, we got on, and I just said, look, this is, asked him loads of questions about his property. And I said, yeah, that's absolutely fine. So when and it was very presumptuous as well, it's like, okay, so when I come, I'm going to assume that I need to bring ceiling shades, like, state is this in, what kind of state's that in, blah blah, just kind of asking lots of questions. And he was like, yeah. And then I was like, okay, brilliant. Well, look, if we're successful, obviously that'd be amazing, but definitely you need to go and have a chat with other people and make sure you're making. So I think it was that some of it's kind of a bit of a presumptuous close in terms of like, oh, when we come, when I do this, when we work together, it's language as well, isn't it, as opposed to just, oh, it'd be really lovely to have your business, but maybe if it's got to have the confidence behind it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way it's done, right? So you got your first client, that stage goes well. I assume there was a good outcome there. How is the rest of things panned out? Where's your next client from? And where are you today?
Yeah, so that one did have a really great outcome, actually, because the person that bought that property had previously been to view it and had completely dismissed it. And the agent, who is epic, was just like, no, you should come and have a look at it again. And they were like, no, absolutely not interested, because it was a basement apartment, so it didn't have the same maybe appeal as a penthouse, which is obviously why it's been on the market for like 13 months vacant, which is horrible for the vendors. So she persuaded this lady to go and see it, and then she walked in and went, oh my god, it's a completely different apartment, and then literally bought it. That was it. So that is basic. You know, when you just want that testimonial, I was like, oh, my first one, what an amazing testimonial, sort of thing. So so the outcome of that was epic. And then since then, my second one after that was a referral. So that was actually the apartment next door, who had seen the success of the quick sale. Yeah, because it sold in like, I think it was 3 weeks. So it'd been vacant for 13 months and then sold in 3 weeks after staging, which was epic. So then the second one was a referral, and then I've had more referrals, and then I've been like, trying to build relationships with estate agents to, get in touch with more property developers and things like that. And obviously networking a lot. Like, oh my God, I feel like I'm always networking. And I've had some referrals from networking as well. So it's, it has just gone crazy. And I think as well, like with social media as well, like I've had clients come to me because they found me on social media. And I'm like, how did you find me on social media? You know what I mean? Like, how has that even happened? And it just goes to, she said, we've been watching you for a while. I didn't even know that this person was watching. She goes, I just love what you do. Love like the colors, love this, love that. Will you come and work with us? And I was like, yeah, of course I will. So you just never know who's watching. It's very true. And I remember you saying this to us when we first started, like, you've got to show up every day. You've got to be consistent because you don't know who's watching. And it is so true. And I've had like 2 or 3 leads like that now. And I'm like, oh my God, it works,
So Liv doesn't cool. Just teach this for the hell of it. It actually works.
Yeah, I know. Well, I remember you banging the message home, and I was like, yeah, I need to show up every day. I need to do it, be consistent, blah, blah, blah. And I've done that, and that, like I said, it's paying off. So where am I today? Oh my gosh. Just don't know whether I'm coming or going half the time. Just
she doesn't know how many properties she's staged. She doesn't know how much money she's made. She's just living in the moment of it.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly how many properties I've staged because it feels like a lot. And then I've got this, like, started doing SA stuff as well now. I've been helping like occupied homeowners just with some advice and stuff like that as well. So like these are like nice little infill jobs as well. But altogether, so I did the numbers because I thought you were going to ask me that. So altogether, which feels really strange to be telling people this, but yeah, so my turnover so far has been 55,000.
Amazing.
Yeah, which is, I'm kind of like, how has that happened?
Yeah, and would you say that that's mainly staged for sales so far?
Yeah, so that's all bar a couple of this one SA. That's all been staging for sale.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so what's important for those that are listening to realize is that staging for sale is less upfront. So in terms of if you're doing service accommodations, that can really inflate your revenue, but there's usually less of a profit margin in that. Whereas stage for sale is a much higher percentage of profit. I mean, often when you've got your kits, we're talking between, anywhere between 60 and sometimes 80 or 90%.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. So I led with staging for sale. And then for me, like the SA stuff is lovely projects. Do you know what I mean? It's lovely projects to do while my kit's out, because while my kit's out, yes, it's only making me money, but then I'm sitting around twiddling my thumbs sort of thing, waiting for the next one to come and all that kind of stuff. I shouldn't say that. What I mean is hunting down for the next one. So the SA, so the SA stuff is like infill work, infill jobs,
Yeah, and that's the thing. You niche down into your signature service being staged for sale. And then naturally your business does expand because you do get the inquiries and people want to work with you and other things. And I always say at that point, don't turn down that business, but keep your brand aligned for at least a while. I mean, you've been kind of like staging for sale focused. Your business isn't even 12 months old yet.
I know. Well, this is it. So I'd always planned to do SA, but I was going to do that next year. And I was, like really focused on this. This SA kind of accelerated where I thought I was going to be because they said, oh, this is the ones that were like, oh, we've been following you. Would you come and do this? And I was like, yes, you know, because ultimately I'd always planned to do it. And like I said, this is kind of, I suppose, where my kind of background would have been anyway, because of my own properties. So I was like, yeah, of course, you know. So so this has been a really nice project. I've loved this project. It's been a lovely project. So yeah, so you don't know, like, but I think for me it was trying to stay really focused on one thing, but like not losing sight of what else potential there is
Yeah.
out there. And like you said, it's just always taking action. So if someone inquires, you just say yes. Do you know what I mean? You just go, yeah, of course, you know, yeah, we'll make it work, whatever. Because, you know, it's business, isn't it, at the end of the day?
Yeah, and it's like being the swan, isn't it? Above the water, you're cool, you're calm, you're collected. Under the water, those little flippers are going crazy, and you're trying to find a way to make it work. So let's touch on that social media point, because I don't want to like just, skim past that. You've now got people coming to you. They probably weren't liking, they probably weren't commenting, because ultimately when we stalk people, we don't want them to know we're there. And then they drop into your inbox with a, hey, we've been watching. I mean, that is the message that everybody wants. That's the message that people want to see come into their DMs saying, let's work together. And that's how it works over time. And how did it feel? Because I would imagine that you showed up on social media for a while with no wins. How did it feel to finally start to see those messages and inquiries come in?
Yeah, it was. I remember like getting the thing come through my inbox saying, "Oh, hey, you know, we've been following you on social media, and look, we love what you do, and blah blah blah, and blah blah blah." And I was just like, "Oh my god, it worked!" Which was kind of crazy. And then yeah, it was just crazy. I was just like, "Oh my god, it actually works! It works! This is actually because you put so much content out there." And it can feel a bit like, oh my God, don't know why I'm bothering, because like you don't get many likes or you don't get many this or whatever. And then you're like, oh, maybe my content strategy is not right. Maybe I need to tweak it. Maybe I need to do this. Maybe, you know, like, because when you're starting out, you're just second guessing everything because you don't know, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then to see this thing come into my inbox, I was like, oh my God, that is crazy. How has that even happened? You know, like it's just a following you thing. And I think, like I said, it's just being present all the time and just reminding people that you're there. And even if, you know, people aren't looking at that moment, you're nurturing people, even people you don't even know, but you're nurturing it, you're planting it in their head that, yeah, they need to stage the house if they're going to say it, you know, all that kind of stuff. You know, if they've got an essay, like they need to make sure it stands out, make sure it's different, make sure that, you know, the photography is on point, because ultimately in a sea of Airbnb listings, you've got how you're going to differentiate yourself, you know. So there's all that kind of stuff. But so I've had that. And then Facebook's been weird, like nothing from Facebook at all. But all of a sudden, I must have had about 100 people contact me, you know, like following me. And I was like, what? Like, this is literally last time I spoke to you, I was like, Facebook's giving me nothing. And then all of a sudden it has gone crazy. And I'm literally like, I need to do another one of those like introductory posts.
Yeah.
Like, okay, if you're new here, kind of thing. But yeah, that's crazy. And then I've had leads come through LinkedIn. Like,
Fantastic.
hi, I found you
So
on LinkedIn. I'm
all
like,
of the
okay,
platforms,
well,
all of the platforms are producing for you then, which is
yeah,
awesome. And the more consistent and the longer you are doing this, the more that's going to grow. But on top of that, what I see you often doing, which most people refuse to do, and this is what I try and hammer into people's heads, is get on video. Like, that is the fastest way to grow. Video is the fastest growing content strategy right now. You're on there all the time, and I love it. And I actually think it's faster just to pull out your phone and record a video than it is to write all this really detailed copy that probably no one will read. Was
yeah.
that in your comfort zone before you started this, to just jump on Facebook and be like, hey, everyone?
I think you know full well it was not in my comfort zone, because I remember when just before I launched, we had a chat and you were like, right, so when you go live, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, you know, I've done this amazing series of posts and I've got a competition and blah blah blah. And you're like, you're going to go live? And I was like, no. And you were like, yeah, you need to do that. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go live, but I will do a video. Okay, I'll compromise and do a video. And then I was like, oh my God. And I must have done about 20 million takes, because I was like, okay, it needs to be perfect. And what am I going to say? And, you know, and it was kind of a bit scripted as well, because I was so nervous about doing it. But I did do it. And I did quite a few of those, and then I kind of stopped doing it because I started writing more copy, like you said, because I was like, actually, I can schedule all this. It helps me, just kind of put social media to bed for the month sort of thing if I've actually done some copy. And then it was actually another business coach that I've got who said, why have you stopped doing videos? And I was like, oh, do you know, I'm so busy. I'm just so busy. And he was like, you do know that like you're actually really quite good in front of the camera, and actually like video, like literally what you've just said, like video is the way forward and blah. He goes, you need to get your face back on there. And I was like, right, okay, I slipped into a bad habit, fine. So yeah, my face is now very predominantly on everybody's social media feed. I apologize. But yeah, so I'm gone back to doing it. And actually, like you said, it is quicker because I just talk about what I'm doing that day.
Yes.
And it's just quicker. It's easier.
Yeah, 100%. And people connect with you so much faster.
Yeah.
It's actually said that people need to spend 7 hours with you to buy from you, which isn't always the case. However, it's kind of like the general stat. And the fastest way people can spend time with you is 100% just watching you on video. It's not to say you need to have 7 hours out there all the time. But over that space of time, people do need to get to know you, see your face, and see you pop up. So I love this. I love your success in just 10 months. This time last year, you didn't even have a home staging business, which is insane. At the time recording this, we're in February. And so what's next? Like, where's the business going next? Who knows?
Yeah, more of the same. I've got quite, like I said, I've got quite big goals, for the year. Like I want to double my revenue
Great.
next year. So I'll be coming to the end of the financial year in May. So I didn't launch till July, but yeah. But my financial year is May because that's when I started the business. So I've literally just done all my goals in like vision board for next year, and it's looking exciting. Not going to give anything away. But yeah, I want to double my revenue because that's kind of then almost replacing my income, almost. So
Fantastic.
yeah, that I need to replace my income.
Amazing. Amazing. Okay. So last question for you, Sarah, is if you could go back to your younger self last year when you were considering launching the business, look, you took massive action and you done it fast, but what would your words of wisdom be to that younger self?
I think I said this last one. Sign up on day one. Don't even waste the 5 days. Just do it. Just do it. If I think like if you genuinely believe that like you can do something, even if it feels a bit scary, like if you're not scared, you're not growing. If you're in your comfort zone, you're just cruising along. Like I have now got so used to being uncomfortable. And that even my mom is like, oh darling, I think I'm anxious for you, and I'm like, I'm fine, I'm completely okay with this now, and I've just got used to just winging it. There is obviously some planning and strategy that goes into it. I'm not completely
Quick disclaimer. Yes, I do sometimes,
But it's just I've just got used to riding the roller coaster, and actually it's a ride. Oh my God, it's a ride,
Yeah, you definitely need to get used to living in the discomfort, but honestly, the rewards of running your own business are far bigger than any sort of fear or nerves you may have. And I can definitely testify to that. So guys, if you are, loving Sarah's journey and you also want to launch your business, achieve 55,000 in sales, not even in 10 months, it's actually less than that. My brain can't even compute. 6 months. 6 months. Thank you for that little nudge. Then comment 55K below and one of my team can reach out to you about how you can get started. And yeah, I just want to take this time and say thank you to everyone for joining us. And most importantly, thank you to you, Sarah, for your time. Your journey is massively inspirational for everybody listening. And yeah, I can't wait to see what you achieve this year.
Thank you.
Thank you.